Hello and welcome again to the New York Architecture course by Open Online Academy. In this section, in this tour, we're going to experience what the Upper West Side of Manhattan has to offer us. We're going to start from Columbus Circle and see the towers designed by SOM and built in the 1990s, which is now Time Warner, known as Time Warner Center, on the southwest edge of Central Park. From there, we'll proceed south to the Hearst Building by Norman Foster on 57th Street and 8th Avenue, a remarkable building with diagrid structure in the perimeter with these diagonals that you see intersecting and the glass in between them, with facades that are twisted and turning up or down in the corners, offering remarkable views for the people that are inside the building, and at the same time remarkable spectacular views of those who are seeing the building from outside, from the city. From there, we're going to go further west, and we're going to reach the Hudson River, where you see on 57th Street and 11th Avenue a building by Bjarke Ingels Architects, which is known as VIA or West 57th in other ways. It's a hyperbolic paraboloid building on one side with a patio in the center, and then it rises to the scale of the skyscrapers in the area. So the architect calls it a combination between the European courtyard building and then the American skyscraper. It has a base in the bottom, as like most of the high-rise buildings in the city, but then very elegantly it lifts up to the height of a skyscraper, leaving a patio in the center and then providing views for all the people from all the apartments in the interior, views towards the central patio and to the river. So that's a really remarkable building that I'm sure you're gonna enjoy seeing. From there, we're gonna go slightly north again to the Lincoln Center, which is on Broadway and 65th Street. It is another modern complex that was sponsored by the Rockefeller family initially, and then a number of other donors. And the Lincoln Center currently hosts the New York City Ballet, the Opera, and also the main auditorium of the city, the David Koch Theater, which is now renamed as the Geffen Theater because of his recent donation. In this area, you see some of these remarkable modern buildings and also some postmodern architecture, as for example, a building by Philip Johnson in the backside of this complex of the Lincoln Center. And then right next to it is a new remarkable expansion by Diller and Scofidio, which is the expansion of the Juilliard School. That's a building, a modern building designed originally in the 60s, and then recently they transformed it by adding a new wing and adding a new auditorium in the center, which is really the state of the art in terms of design, in terms of materials, in terms of acoustics, and also the visual spectacle that the interior has to offer us. So all that is the Lincoln Center, and we'll spend probably about an hour in this area where you'll be able to experience and explore in depth this modern and contemporary architecture. From there, we'll get on the one train from 66th Street and go to Columbia University, which is, again, one of the most remarkable and impressive architectural constellations in New York City. The university itself was designed in the late 19th century when Columbia moved from the site where Rockefeller Center is currently to the Upper West Side, purchasing the area of psychiatric hospital. And McKim, Heath and White designed the entire master plan based on neoclassical architecture using neoclassical language. This campus is remarkable in its unity of architecture. It's remarkable in the space that it defines. Very symmetrical, very traditional, nothing like the contemporary kind of and modern geometries and also urban design that we see in other parts of the city, but still it's a masterpiece in its both in its urban design and in some of its architecture. On the site, you see some of the traditional architecture, the neoclassical architecture, like the Law Library, for example, the Butler Library, and then all the different schools around them, but also some extraordinary contemporary architecture, as for example, the Bernard Tschumy's Learner Hall, which is basically the student center, where he makes a combination between a kind of a late postmodern building with bricks and copper facade and glass, combined with this very contemporary facade in which he has this ramp that goes up. It's a glass ramp that goes up that's being suspended from like a bridge structure all the way from coming down from the roof without touching the floor. So that kind of is the really the entrance to the campus from the southwest corner, and it's a really remarkable way of walking people into the campus and welcoming them with this very transparent and moving facade. We'll walk around the campus and end up with a building by Raphael Moneo on the northwest corner, a building that was opened recently in 2009. And Raphael Moneo designed this building above the gym, so he couldn't obviously put anything on the top, any weight on the top of the gym because it was an existing structure. So he suspended the building from structure on the corners, so the whole building works as a one large truss, where right now we have the science labs of Columbia University. A really impressive building, very well connected with the rest of the campus, and also makes an important contemporary statement for the university and for its future, because Columbia is expanding in that direction with Manhattan View and Renzo Piano's new project, new master plan project, which we will also see at the end of our tour. So join us for this tour of the Upper West Side of Manhattan, where you'll experience, see, and explore in depth some of the most important architecture that the city has to offer us.